So we've been putting this off for about a week now. I know you guys are dying to know, because I was very excited for Daredevil Born Again. And as it turns out, I'm feeling... I hate to say it, I think it's a little mid. A lot of people like, oh man, it's just as good. It's back. I don't think it's bad. I would say it's okay. It's got some real bad CG issues in the first episode. I think both of our hearts sunk. We both groaned at rubber CGI Daredevil landing on that fire escape. I don't know why they did that. Everything about the Netflix series was so organic and felt so real. Both of us we're just like, oh no.
Yeah, scrap the whole first episode. It was trash.
Oh, you are going way harder than I am. Oh my god.
It was not good. There's a whole like cringy walk down the sidewalk where they're like, hey, you know, we've been gone, but now we're back. There's terrible CG. I really hated the first episode, but the second two have been, pretty good. Okay.
What's funny is most people are saying the opposite, and they think the first 20 minutes of the first episode are like, that's where it really kicks ass.
I think it's terrible. I thought it was awful.
You don't get very long with the characters until something happens, and there are big problems because Foggy's fiance has vanished. We don't know why. Mm-hmm. We don't know how long it's been since season 3 of Daredevil. A whole bunch of shit has happened in Hawkeye, She-Hulk, and Echo, and I'm not watching Hawkeye or Echo, and I'm still my vocal cords are still recovering from the torrential vomit that I experienced watching She-Hulk. So,
well, as far as that goes, I don't think it's as bad as between seasons 2 and 3 of Daredevil, where you would have absolutely no idea what has transpired or what is going on in season 3 unless you watch Defenders.
Yeah.
They do not even try to touch on anything in season 3.
That's a good point.
You're like, where's the hand? Like everything we've built up is suddenly not here.
That's a good point to make.
In Born Again, they at least touch on what's happened with Fist. They have a little conversation in a diner, and they don't explain everything, but you at least are like, oh, okay, there's been some time, and he's been through some stuff, and blah blah. But yeah, there was none of that between seasons 2 and 3 of Daredevil.
It's good to point out that like this is nothing new. I guess I would say like you have to go watch Defenders for the Daredevil season 2 plot to wrap up, and that's not great. I mean, that's kind of been comic books, and I guess they're just carrying that over to TV shows and movies. Well, you gotta, and that's how Captain Marvel made the money that it made, because they made it out to seem like you had to go see Captain Marvel to understand Endgame.
But there's a way to do that, and they've done it before, where like you can acknowledge what's happened without like showing it all play out. Like you can wrap it up.
It's called Previously On.
Previously on X-Men.
I guess we should, as soon as possible, say this show was intended as a completely different show. I guess it was supposed to be some kind of a She-Hulk-like or She-Hulkian comedy. Thank God. It sounds like Charlie Cox and Vincent D'Onofrio approached, I don't know, Kevin Feige maybe himself, and they were, I don't know what they said. I don't know what the tone of it was, but I think at the end of the day, it was like, this shit ain't working. Because both Daredevil and Kingpin were humiliated, in my opinion, on She-Hulk and Echo. But to swing it back around to like, what is going on? Even if you go and watch Hawkeye, I've heard, I haven't seen, people are like, they don't tell you how he is free from the trouble he caused and got locked up for in season 3 of Daredevil. He's just out. And I've read somewhere like, oh, I guess it's because of the blip, the Thanos blip, that he was able to get out of prison. I don't think they say that in Hawkeye, but he's just out of jail. So we still don't know how Fisk is free, in my opinion. And in the show, the fact, we're heavy into spoilers, just so you guys know. I haven't seen anybody running for the hills with their hands over their ears, but the fact that he could become mayor alone, like they've done it in the comics, they probably did it better in the comics. I don't know, haven't read it. This is so outrageous to me that I can't even deal with the fact he is. Leaked all over the world was a video of an FBI agent saying that Fisk murdered him indirectly, and everyone know, like, I don't care how corrupt you're not becoming mayor of New York after that happens. So.
I think that he could have easily become mayor, but not by like the love and affection of people.
Okay.
He could have easily cheated and lied his way into a position of power. We've seen him use those tactics through many episodes, but they just were suddenly like, yeah, Fisk, he's a real good guy, we love Fisk.
Yeah, that stuff. And that's a good place to probably touch on the weird little like person on the street segments.
Yeah, street cams.
The street cams.
That's so cringy.
Those immediately take me out of it. It's very not Daredevil. Those don't work for me at all. They never really, they don't say much of anything.
They're like, New York is real shitty and things are shitty here. There's crime. There's crime here.
I like the Daredevil. I don't like the Daredevil.
And it's like, we don't need a street view of this. We're already the Daredevil crew. This whole plot is the street level, like, superheroes.
Yeah.
We're already at street level. Don't go more street level.
We gotta get more street level. I want to see the dirt and the grime.
And then they say nothing that has anything to do with the plot.
I want to see a guy with a filthy porn stash with a hot dog dripping all over him.
The old lady sweeping the sidewalk.
I'd kill that motherfucker myself if I could.
There's good guys and bad guys. Okay, bye.
We don't like that Spooter man. All right, so we've kind of like we've gone all over the map with it already. Let's back it up to the first episode. I did see someone in chat, I think maybe Fireish, say, I don't mind the bad CG. If the acting and the story is good. I don't think I can say the story is good. It's maybe almost
I don't think it's had enough time.
No, it's 3 episodes in. We're not condemning it.
I felt I was pretty bored through the first 3 episodes of the last season we watched.
I want to see a homeless guy peeing on the Daily Bugle. The performance that Charlie Cox gives in the opening of the first episode is great. On set, he did a great job. The guy who plays Bullseye did a great job. There's no excuse to have rubber CGI Daredevil. Just cut it. I know it sucks for I say this as a visual effects person. I know that sucks. Just get it out of there. We don't have to see Daredevil land on that specific fireplace. We don't need that. And then the thing in the bar, it's just a wash in bad After Effects CG smoke. It looks ridiculous. It looks like a video game. And I guess we should talk about it. The foggy thing, right? Is there anybody here? Anybody's probably run for
spoilers. We're spoiling everything.
We're putting up the big spoiler hand right now. I'm gonna spoil with my. Let's get this one.
Don't defile my.
We can't write on the loner. If this is up, we're doing spoilers. Chat says I'm not planning on watching it. Go crazy. Foggy is seemingly murdered in the first 10 minutes.
Which is so stupid.
This comes after the introduction of many side characters who give rather dodgy acting performances. And it becomes clear that they are the replacements for Karen and Foggy pretty quick. Again, Foggy's hitting on a girl, Marcy. His fiance's just gone. That's not addressed at all. You could just say a line.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
That's not even there at all. I'm guessing they couldn't get the actress back or something like that. Well, Human Falafel, it's not even a Born Again adaptation. They adapted Born Again from the comics in season 3 pretty well, I would say. It's just Born Again because it's on a new streaming service.
Because it's been however many years.
It's been about 6. I don't know how long it's been since Daredevil season 3. But so Foggy's just going to turn out to be a Skrull. I know it.
I would, as much as I hate that they killed him off right off. Like, I don't even mind that he gets killed. Like, I hate that because Foggy's my favorite character.
Foggy's the character you actually like.
I like him more than Matt. But
hot take.
If they're gonna kill him off, give us time to remember who he is and like build up like what they've been doing and him as a like. It's been 8-10 years or however long since season 3. Well, not for us, but
I don't know how long in world. Yeah.
And then you show him for 2 seconds and we're supposed to feel like, oh no.
Right, that's a problem
like,
for sure.
He said 3 lines. We don't even know what he's doing in his life anymore.
No, growing a freaking kick-ass beard, that's what.
Yeah.
So that happens very abruptly. Bullseye shoots him. There's a very dodgy rooftop confrontation between Matt and Bullseye. I think they used a set a few times in the original series, but they were really good sets for rooftops. Immediately that jumped out at me. That rooftop that they fought on looked like it was straight out of Ninja Turtles 1, which is a great movie. 1990, baby. So that was another thing that took me out of it. He shoves Bullseye off the top of the building. Does not kill Bullseye, who has just recovered from spinal surgery. Foggy passes away. Karen, and like, let's be clear, Foggy, Karen, all the actors, Charlie Cox, I'm sorry, I don't know the actor who plays Foggy's name. I think he was in the Mighty Ducks. They all give fantastic performances.
Yeah, they're great.
There's no problem with the performances from the main cast.
If they bring him back, that is the dumbest thing ever.
In the comics, he's faked his death and come back before. So,
well, he can't. How would he fake? He didn't fake that.
I don't know. I haven't read the comics. So then we jump a year, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like that's a massive mistake because then we just jump to like, I guess Karen and Matt have broken up. We're just on a bench with them in a courthouse and they're being kind of shitty to each other. We don't see Matt quitting being Daredevil. We don't see Karen and Matt break up.
Well, I think he was implied to be quitting Daredevil when he took off the mask on the rooftop and threw it down. It was like he's giving it up.
Symbolic, but like, I need a little bit. That's more like lip service to the idea. I need something a little more substantial to that. Where the is his mom? They don't even mention her.
Well,
I think her name was Maggie or something like that.
Didn't something happen to her in the? Oh God. I don't remember.
No, she made it out of season 3 just
died.
Fine. Yeah, the priest got killed. Bullseye got him.
Well, I mean, her being an absent mom is not.
Well, if that's what's going on, fine. she has a history of that.
Yeah, that's nothing new to Daredevil, though. It's just not explaining where a character is going. So.
Yeah. We're doing lots of stuff where I'm just kind of like, ugh, with. Like, we're doing... he's been gone. Kingpin's been gone. What's the wife's name? Vanessa? She's been Queen Pen, essentially, while he's been chasing around Echo and doing other stupid stuff. And of course, she's better at being Kingpin than he is. She's cheated on him.
I don't think she's better at it. I think she's more ruthless, which is saying something because it's Kingpin and he's freaking ruthless. But she is like anything and everything to get what she wants and get money.
Well, I mean, if you go and you watch like the other shows, She-Hulk and Echo, it's intended to be like, she's better at it than you are, buddy. That's how I'm going to interpret it.
But this isn't She-Hulk or Echo.
Huh?
It's Daredevil Born Again.
It's from the same faucet.
Okay.
It has the same contaminants in it.
Well, I'm an expert at controlling my anger because I do it infinitely more than you.
You almost tasted that. Num, eat it up. Go play.
Honorable mention, they did kind of say F you to Echo in the diner scene, which was great.
I like that they acknowledged that because I felt like I don't know anything about those shows other than what you've told me after the fact, but I felt like I got an idea of at least kind of what he's been doing.
She ends up shooting him in the face, in the eye. I don't know how he just has like some scarring in Daredevil Born Again. And there's a diner scene where they're kind of talking about fatherhood in some way, shape, or form. And then Matt's like, yeah, didn't she shoot you in the eye? And they just go like right into the camera. And they don't even bother to acknowledge She-Hulk, which scores even more points with me. So
3, 2, 1. You know I'm the hottest. You ain't never got.
There's some pretty good fights. White Tiger, by episode 3, the whole White Tiger thing, like, I was like, okay, we're getting more courtroom stuff by episode 3. We didn't get a whole lot of that in the first 3 seasons, and it's fairly well done. It is getting better. I've heard that by episode 6, it starts to finally like become the show they wanted it to be. The people who weren't like, we're going to make this a silly Billy Daredevil and like just like She-Hulk. And they, by episode 6, if you can hang in there to episode 6,
I think it's fine right now.
So that's your final verdict. Is Daredevil Born Again is fine?
No, I'm like, I like it now. The second and third episodes, I'm feeling about the same as I felt at the beginning of the prior.
Okay.
I'm interested. I'm glad they're showing him in a courtroom because they never really built him up as a lawyer or attorney or whatever.
Yeah.
In prior seasons, he was just kind of like f***ing off while Foggy did all the work.
Well, he was trying to stop the ninja apocalypse. He wasn't just out there playing with his nightstick, okay? He was out doing some important shit. I interpreted it as she's ruthless just like him, so that's why they're a match. Well, they're showing her to be better at running everything.
I don't think so.
I do think it is explicitly stated, like, I've got all of this running better than you ever did.
When you were gone, I made this business bulletproof.
She's been handling it while he's been away. And she's freaking ruthless, and even more so than he seems to be now. But I don't think it's like everything's going so much better. I don't know.
I also, it feeds back into the confusion over how much time has really passed, because the last time we saw Vanessa, she was just like, oh, go show me your gamer den, sweetie. I was previously running an art gallery. Now I'm running the entire the underworld of New York City. I'm like, that's another disconnect for me where I'm like, that doesn't really track for me very well. People are debating about we'll just say political thing with Kingpin. There's aspects there, but I think it's being really blown out of proportion. I don't think they were intending to do that too much. And this was written before any of that. So if that's a put off for any of you out there, like it would be for me, instantly I'm like, shut up, I don't want to hear about it.
No,
They're not doing it very much.
You can insert any any divisive political figure in for that character, and
which is all of them.
Which is, well, yeah, but there's some that are more so than
fair enough.
And that, I mean, you could any one of them could be a stand-in for this.
Yeah, and like I particularly am turned off by that sort of stuff, and if I'm watching it and I'm not irritated, there's your sort of test. There's your baseline. Okay. It's clearly Julius Caesar.
That was my first thought too, sis.
Citizen Yarn, you get a gold star for that one. I guess I would say it is a recommend for me. I can't ignore the not insubstantial amount I am disappointed with it. It is not even close to season 1 on Netflix for me. It is good-ish, I guess is what I would say. There's a lot of new side characters. They're very thinly presented. I've heard they don't stick around. The hole left by Karen and Foggy is very, very deep, and the side characters do not fill them.
No, it's not very great.
No. But I would go check it out. Unfortunately, it, I think, has not done well in the ratings. I think it has less viewership than Agatha All Along or Star Wars Acolyte.
Well, people are just done with it in general.
They're done with the goodish isn't enough for me. These damn Phil. That's hard. I do think it's worth it to check it out. There's a few things you're gonna have to just accept. They do like pop song montages, which is not something they ever did in the gritty original Netflix show. That takes me out of it every time they do it. There's the man on the street things that are very not Daredevil. There's a lot of plot problems for me. Connecting it to season 3, characters aren't quite acting the way they should, if they're even there anymore. There's a lot of plot holes.
Well, I think that's nothing new.
You know what? Fair enough.
That's not something we can blame on this season. That's always been around.
I would say go watch it just because somebody, and that somebody being Charlie Cox and Vincent D'Onofrio, stood up for themselves and their characters, and their performances are excellent. Go check it out for that alone, and maybe it's going to be kind of like a Sonic the Hedgehog situation where it was like, oh, there's no way I'm going to see that. Oh my God, they got it so wrong. And then they were like, became aware of it, and instead of attacking the fans, they went and they did all they could to get it right, and that's something that you do not see very often. So for me, it's a recommend. Would you say it's a recommend for you?
So far, yeah. Just don't watch the first episode.
Oh, you have to watch the first episode.
Just read a summary. Read a summary of the first episode.
The fight is good. It's just all of the bad CG around.
Ugh.
Well, you get bored in action scenes anyway.
Yeah, I do.
I do too if I don't care about the characters, and I care very much about the characters in Daredevil.
I cared about Foggy.
I care about Foggy a great deal, and like your criticisms of Matt are all valid. Like,
I don't really like Daredevil all that much as a person.
Like Matt.
At least portrayed in this series.
He makes some
he's
mistakes.
He's kind of a shitty friend.
You balance being
he's kind of
the
like
man
a
without
crybaby.
fear. Oh my God! You know what we have to do? We have to show. You guys would never know it, but we've been trying to play the Princess Bride board game for hours, and we need to make Wesley the man without fear. They have very similar costumes. Holy shit! Oh my God! You're gonna see Wesley on a rooftop in New York City for the thumbnail. But yeah, I do recommend it. I've heard it gets better.
I think it's already starting to get better.
It's getting better. It's a very rough
It
start.
feels to me, other than the side characters acting.
Cherry. There's a guy named
like,
Cherry. Honestly, I think that guy's performance is fine. It's just like, who is this motherfucker?
Yeah, I guess it's gotten better too. But I don't know.
He's got a new assistant at his new fancy law firm. I forget her name, and no matter how inappropriate she behaves, he has to tell her she's amazing. That's a one.
Yeah, some of the acting and the side characters are like, I think that's the first time they read that line. Like maybe give him another shot at that.
What's wrong with my line read? But let's see what chat has to say, and then I guess we're gonna go play a video game if you're up for it for a little while. I saw WandaVision after it had completed, so I knew what to expect. I thought WandaVision started off super strong.
Oh, I loved the beginning of WandaVision.
Everybody loved the beginning of WandaVision until it just turned into another CG nightmare where Wanda Maximoff does horrific mental torture to an entire town and then gets off scot-free. Ugh, I hate the morality at the end of that WandaVision. It's so gross. I only know the basics of Daredevil as a character in general and was never drawn to him as a superhero, so it might not appeal to me.
Yeah, that's the same.
Let me make a case for Daredevil for you, Anime. I love Daredevil because it's just so cool to see him put up the front of a blind person. And he is technically blind. He just, his other senses, I mean, you know this is Daredevil. But it is so cool to watch him when he drops the facade and starts kicking ass. And there are so many amazing shots. They're not really one take, but they're close. Season 1 has a fight down a hallway, and it goes on for a long time. It's not boring to me because he's there to save a child, and he accomplishes this. At the end of the fight, he gets the shit kicked out of him. He doesn't give up. And I'll be honest with you, the first time I saw that episode back in the day, I cried when he picked up that kid. Mm-hmm. It's a great show, Season 1 of Daredevil.
That was a good fight scene. Just be prepared to watch several other hallway scenes trying to recreate that moment through the next.
I'm fine with I'm fine with most of them. Most of them are pretty good.
I think what bothers me, well, not only that he just kind of like, I don't think they portray the moral quandary of being a superhero versus like being in regular life with your friends and loved ones. It's not portrayed well in the Daredevil show to me. Like, I feel like he's just a jerk to his friends, and they don't discuss that very well for me, enough for me to be like, okay, I understand he's having a moral quandary here. He's just kind of like off kicking ass and then neglecting all his other relationships. And you're like, Matt?
Well, he's made to pay for it, though. They tell him to his face, like, you're a shitty friend. Like, it's not...
yeah, they do.
Yeah, it's
but not... it's not, like, within him. I don't feel like I'm seeing him be like, oh, no, I feel so, like,
I see what you're
torn,
saying.
Like Spider-Man. He's not like...
This is just basic superhero shit. I got to balance my secret identity with the superhero persona.
And the other thing is, like, showing someone with a disability being a superhero and kicking ass is awesome. Like, I love the concept of that. But then it's like, by season 3, who is he talking to? Karen or someone? And he's like, they're like, oh, so you can just see? And he's like, yeah, I can see.
Well,
and it's like, what? So you're not that cool?
He sees through like a bunch of like
he's like,
citrus.
Yeah, I don't need this walking stick. I don't have any kind of...
He sees through orange Gatorade, okay? That someone's peed in. It's real dirty looking. I do get what you're saying. It's not a show like WandaVision or Acolyte where like the character it's like the show is completely unaware of how shitty the main character or main characters are being, to the point where they'll play like heroic music when they're doing evil, horrible shit where any normal person is like, I do get why you get irritated with Matt, and I do too. I feel like that's by design, and I do feel like the show does scold him. His friends do scold him. He gets called out for it. But I do also see what you're saying, where it's like he personally...
He's just kind of like, yeah, this is it. This is how I am. Deal with it.
Maybe
he has a little bit of moments where he's like, yeah, sorry. Like, I don't know that he doesn't really though. Like,
no, he has a moment. No, there is specifically like they're on a rooftop near the end of season 3.
It's like a real quick like, yeah, sorry about that.
Well, okay. So what does Matt need to do?
I just need to see him struggling more with like internally with like, I need to be there for my friends, but I also feel like I need to do this other thing. Like, I just don't feel like it was addressed very well.
You don't think like that's a big part of why he's like in a basement in season 3, like cutting himself off? That was more faith in Daredevil and not the friend component?
That was him losing Elektra in Defenders.
You think he was moping over a girl
yes!
there? I don't think so. I mean, that was in there. I don't know. I took it as like, I'm a danger to my friends. Yeah, my girlfriend came back from the dead and is dead again, and she was evil. I think it was everything, and the friend component was in there. But all right, so Jocelyn wants to see Matt be a little more repentant. He's Catholic. What more do you want?
That doesn't mean anything.
No, they haven't done too much of the religious stuff.
I am glad to see him
a little bit
doing more in the courtroom. I don't know. I like the show. I have problems with the character, I guess.
I want to like it. It has good components to it. It has a lot wrong with it, and I'm going to stick it out because I really respect Charlie Cox and Vincent D'Onofrio for standing up and saying something. And I hope it gets better. And they're already filming a second season. I don't know if it's flashbacks or what, but Foggy's actor and Karen's actor are back in season 2. Please.
Karen can come back. She's not dead.
Please, God, no multiverse shit. Where's the Namora ghosts? Do we have them? Anyway, so it's a recommend for you, but with a bunch of asterisks.
I don't know that I would have to watch the whole entire thing before I can.
With that caveat that it's not finished yet, it is a recommend for me, but it's got a lot of problems. So just be prepared going in for that. Burpees.